Hello everyone. Welcome on in. I'm Velvet. Thanks for joining me today for this speed build. We are going to be building the Anchorpoint family home. So this Anchorpoint abode is actually a lot in San Sequoia, which is the world that came with growing together. And I am building this for the Populate Planet Sims collaboration, and this is for the San Sequoia world builds. So I have this is actually my second build in this world. So I also built the large family home that is on the 64 by 64 lot for this collaboration, and this is my second home on a 30 by 20 lot, so it's a little bit of a cutie one. This is actually the vacation home lot, so you could have this as a vacation home or a residential home. So I've popped it up on the gallery as a residential, so you can kind of pick and choose which you would prefer and set it as a vacation home. If you would prefer that, you could go either direction. I set it up that way just for you guys. So if you are here for the very first time on my channel, welcome in. And I am Velvet. I love to play The Sims 4. I'm a YouTuber and streamer, and I'm from New Zealand, if you're wondering about the accent, all the way down under at the bottom of the world. Good old New Zealand, right? That's where I'm from. And yeah, I love to make Sims 4 houses. I love to build, and I actually really enjoy doing a bit of CAS. There's also quite a lot of gameplay on my channel as well. So if you love to watch a bit of Sims 4 gameplay, then I've got quite the variety and assortment just for you. So if you haven't subscribed, remember to hit subscribe, like and comment below, because it all helps me out as a creator. And I love a comment, you know, it makes me feel like somebody's out there watching my stuff, which is always nice. So let's talk about this build. Now this build, I did not have an inspiration for this build. I made this up all on my lonesome, and yeah, it just came out of my brain. I'm not quite sure how, but it did. You know, sometimes it's just, I build enough that if I'm making a build up, I feel fairly confident that I can come up with something that is reasonably good looking, you know, and not a complete architectural disaster. Yes, that's how I feel. So I wanted to give this house, now San Sequoia does lend itself to a real modern suburban style vibe, and San Sequoia, or growing together, the pack was all about family. So when I was thinking about what I wanted to build, those were the two key things that I wanted to bring into the build. So family, this is a family orientated house, and modern suburban. So in terms of the shape and everything like that, that's what I leaned into, and I feel like I really just did capture that. The shape on the front of the build is quite interesting, and it's one of those shapes that evolved as I was building. Like it wasn't like I had a picture in my head when I started this. It just evolved that way, just with how the shape of the build was, and then I just started shaping the roof, and then it just came together. And I actually quite like the front of the roof. It's kind of got an off, or yeah, like an off-center A-frame kind of vibe to it, which I think is quite neat. And so, you know, it's quite interesting. I like a nice, interesting, what's the word for it? You know, where street view. Street view, that's not really the word I'm going for, but it is kind of the word. Street view. There was another word that I wanted to use, but out of my head. Anyway, it's got a really nice street view, and you know, it's quite interesting from the you know, front of the street. And I like to do that with my houses, and I don't know if anybody else thinks about that sort of thing when they're building, but it is one thing that is on my mind when I am building. How does this look from the front? Like if I was doing a gallery view, how would this look? Would it look dumb? Would it look good? You know, how does it all look? It's actually had the gallery view of this is actually quite close up. So it's like, whoa. I can't affect that. You know, it's just one of those things with the gallery. It would be so nice with the gallery if we could actually just choose our picture for our house. Like, you know, a little bit like if you're uploading a room, right? You can click the little camera on there and you can change the view of the room, so you can have one of four sides visible, and you can choose which is going to be the best view for your room. And I wish we had that ability with actual houses as well. But you know what? I'm not going to ask for too much for the gallery. I just want the gallery to work properly. that's that's the main thing that I would love for the gallery is to work properly. It's my dream. Anyhow, one day we'll get our gallery back, our gallery that works properly, and it'll be a banner day for me in The Sims 4. It's workable, and we can upload things, we can download things, so that's the main thing, I guess. At the end of the day, it would just be nice if we could use it. It was a little bit more user friendly. So this build, now I did build this as a limited pack build, so I'm doing quite a few more limited pack builds at the moment, so I hope that that is good for people. I feel like it is. Like, it makes it more accessible to download from the gallery that I was just talking about. Anyway, the packs that I used for this one are primarily expansion packs. So, businesses and hobbies, life and death, Lovestruck, for rent, growing together, high school years, eco lifestyle, city living, and get together. So, a few, but not a lot. Considering, did you guys know there's like 80 plus packs, including all the kits, all the DLCs, 80 plus in The Sims 4 right now? I had no idea like the number was that high. Like, I knew there was a lot of pets, but 80, it kind of blew my mind when I discovered that. I discovered this a couple of weeks ago. It's probably obvious to everyone else, but I just like I didn't pay attention to the numbers, and it was like 80 plus packs. So when you think about it, just building with what is it, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 of the EPs, and the other pack that I used was Parenthood, so that's a game pack. So using 10 packs out of 80 is actually fairly limited. Like, when you look at it written down, it's like, oh, that's quite a few packs. But then you compare 10 packs to the 80 packs that we have available, or 80 plus packs that we have available in the game. That's actually fairly limited. Not too bad. So I'm working on the floor layout at the moment. Because I wanted to make this either a vacation home or a residential. I wanted to have some hangout spots here, so I didn't go heavy on the bedrooms. I wanted a couple of specific rooms for hanging out, so like an adult room and a kids room, because again, this is designed to be really family friendly. So this is the idea behind this. So you've got your backyard and you've got your pool and your barbecue area, so great for hanging out when you're having a rest from doing your day trips or whatever, if you want to use this as a vacation home. And then the garage, I always like to make my garage semi-functional, so I added in a woodworking table, just the idea, running repairs, that sort of thing. And what else did I add in here? Because I got rid of that. Yeah, I got rid of that. Oh, the bikes, that's right. So, if the family does want to ride around and do a trip around San Sequoia, then they can hop on the bikes and off they go. I think I did like a little winery thing and decorative bits and pieces in here. But yeah, semi-functional garage. Obviously, cars themselves are not functional in The Sims 4. So anytime you see a car in The Sims 4, it is purely decorative. It is not anything that is functional. It did take me a little while just to decide on a color on the inside of this as well. I'm always getting green vibes because the outside of the house is green, and I wanted to bring the green on the inside. Plus, green always is just so pretty with that light flooring. I love it. It's a great combo, and one of my fave combos. Anyway, you'll see this evolve. It doesn't actually stay that way, as you do. I often find that though, when I'm placing wallpaper down, it's quite often just a holding color until I start placing the furniture. And as you can see here, I evolved that to grey. So I'm mixing greys, whites, and greens on the interior with the light flooring, and oh, it's just so pretty. I really like this combo. I think it's a really nice combo. And that green with that grey, it just works so pretty. It just works so beautifully. I did struggle a little bit with the layout in this living room. I was just thinking really good flow, and it just ended up that I felt like the living room or the TV sort of viewing area should be down the back of the house. It just kind of made more sense as far as the flow goes. So you kind of come in, you've got your hallway, and then you go into your kitchen dining, and then you go through to your living. But then off to the side, you've got your hangout spots as well. So one is more adult. So, just got like a couch and some music and bits and pieces. Although I guess kids could go in there as well. Mix and match, you say? Mix and match it. And then off to the other side is like a family living room. So you've kind of got like a TV area with the fireplace, and that's like your entertainment area. And then there's like almost like a second lounge, but it's more geared towards, yeah, more the kids side of things. So there's kid games and drawing things, and a big TV with like the gaming cube. I love that gaming cube that we got with one of the events. Honestly, I couldn't tell you which event it was. I want to say maybe the Reaper Rewards, but who knows. Uh, anyway, the gaming cube that we got with an event, so it's just so good. I use it a lot in builds now, and yeah, it's a good little item to have because you can do like multiplayer stuff with it, which I think is neat. So you can sort of see the colors in the room are coming together. I did have to juggle them a little bit just to get the balance right. And you'll quite often see that when I am building. If you see me just sort of switching things around, it's just getting the balance right with the colors. So, yeah, that's why I'm doing it, because I just look at it and I don't know if there's a way that I could really quantify. I'm just kind of hoping that I put light switches throughout the rest of this build, and I feel like I didn't. The amount of times I forget light switches. I know, I did do some, at least. Anyway, yeah, it's just about getting the balance. I don't know, yeah, if that's ever something that I'm ever going to be able to explain, is finding balance with decoration and colours. Oh, what I'm doing here is a shoe rack on top of the hanging rack that we got with businesses and hobbies, because it just actually sits there really nicely with the shoes. And I changed the colour of the shoe rack using the immaculate shelving. So just a little trick there. Yeah, so getting balance with the colours, it's just such a visual thing and just an instinct and taste thing, I think, as well. So yeah, it's really one of those things that you just have to kind of get via experience and doing it, and just finding your own sense of taste and how, yeah, just an instinct, I think, for balance as far as that goes. Just me just trying to work out the shape of the rooms that I want. As you do. So yeah, I don't think it's one of those things that I could quantify. I wish I could. I wish I could say there was an easy way just to know things go together and this works and that works. It's knowing your colors and what does actually work together and what doesn't. I think that's a big part of it. But it's then just juggling out how much of each color you should have, and then the style that you choose. And if you're going a more modern style, if you're going more traditional. This is obviously a modern styled home. We are in a more modern world, and I was leaning into the modern suburban style, so all of the furnishings reflect that. I don't have like your more traditional style furnishings, which are heavier on the decoration. Modern furniture tends to lend itself more to simplicity, and it might have things like the metallic trim to it. So packs like Growing Together, High School Years, Life and Death, the modern things in Life and Death, they have the modern items with that metallic trim to it. So, but then you have a pack like Businesses and Hobbies, which I'm using heavily in this build. And that's a pack that leans into more the wood and less of the luxe modern and more of the more everyday modern, if that makes sense. That's how I kind of view the packs anyway, like everyday modern versus a slightly more upmarket modern, because it's got that, that more luxe metallic trim to it. So this is the hobby room for the kids. So as I said, it's got the drawing, it's got the llama table, science table, it's got the board games, it's got toys, it's got the cube, it's got a big TV for they can watch movies in there. So in the evenings, if the kids need to wind down from their adventures out in the world, then that's a really good room for them. They can all hang out together and have some fun. So this build is actually, now what is it? It is a 3-bedroom, 3-bathroom home. So there is, what I'm working on at the moment is the downstairs bathroom. So that's I don't know, kind of the guest bathroom, large sort of shared bathroom downstairs. And then upstairs, there's going to be 2 more bathrooms. And then the 3 bedrooms are upstairs as well. So how I divided the bedrooms, I did the master bedroom, which is the double bedroom for the adults. And they have their own ensuite, I believe. Do they? No, it's just a shared bathroom. So yeah, so we've got the adults have their own double bedroom, and then the kids, I've done a nursery. So in the nursery there is, and you won't see this in the build because I put 2 toddler beds instead of a toddler bed, a bassinet, and a crib. I put a crib and 2 toddler beds instead of a bassinet. Anyway, I did fix that because I noticed it as I was taking photos. I was like, hang on, where's the bassinet? I put 2 toddler beds. Oops. Anyway, so this is the kids' bathroom because I did the kids' towels in there, and then this is, oh yeah, no, that's the other shared bathroom in here. And I use these sheer curtains from Parenthood and stack them up just to create like a large sheer curtain across the whole window, which I thought was really cool. And I'm just doing a little tricksy tricks here. So if you have the Growing Together pack, what you can do is just create your own towel rack. Just remove the walls so it doesn't stick to the walls, the actual towel, and you can kind of hang it freely on the Growing Together end table and put another towel on top, and it just creates this cute little towel rack, which I think is adorable. Yeah, so the nursery has the bassinet, the crib, and the toddler bed. So despite all evidence to the contrary, it does. And then in the other bedroom, so you've got your master bedroom, you've got your nursery, and then you've got the kids' bedroom. So in the kids' bedroom, I did a bunk bed. So I've got the 2 beds there, and then there's a single bed as well. So you could actually fit 3 kids/teenagers in that room, and then you've got an assortment of different ages in the nursery as well. So if you had like a toddler, an infant, and a newborn, they could be in there, or infant and a toddler. So it would actually work really nicely for a whole lot of kids in this house. Easy peasy. It's all sort of set up for it. They have their own little rumpus room downstairs where they can hang out. I didn't put a high chair in here. I think I put a potty in there, but I didn't put a high chair in there in hindsight. I forgot about the high chair. Oh well, that's all right. It depends on what your kid makeup is in there anyhow. So you might have to add your own high chair. I'm sorry, I did forget one. I quite often forget about the high chairs. It depends. Yeah, it really does depend. Anyway, this is the nursery. So I've kind of leaned into a little bit of yellow upstairs. There is hints of yellow throughout the build. So if you look at the tile in the bathroom, there is actually, it's kind of like a green and yellow tile. And green and yellow actually work really nicely together in certain shades. And the more pastel shades do work quite nicely. And in the master bedroom, the yellow worked so well with that bed, and then bringing in the green as well in that. So I leaned into a touch of yellow in the upstairs area. So in the nursery, I'm just doing cute little pictures. We've got some toys. I was initially going to put a computer in here. Then I was like, well, the kids can't use that. Why am I putting a computer in that room? And then I was like a drawing thing. Then I was like, no, the kids can't use that either. The toddlers can't use that either. Why am I putting non-toddler friendly things in this room? As you do. But anyway, I managed to sort myself out. I whipped myself into shape and just made this more sort of toddler infant friendly. Although I didn't put like one of the infant mats down. Oh well. This is the kids' room. So again, just doing the bunk beds, double beds, and single bed as well. So this is very much like a little kid dormitory as such. And this I went a little bit again a little bit brighter. This is a kid's room, and I feel like you can really get away with brighter colors very easily in a kid room. Although brighter colors you can do anywhere. I really do feel that. One day I'll have to do like a really big bright house. That would be cool. Just all like really big bright bold colors. I feel like people aren't so into the bold colors in their homes though, which is why I sort of don't do it so often. I don't know. How do you feel about bright colours? Let me know below. What do you think? Anyway, that's the build. Thank you so much for watching, and you guys enjoy the tour. Bye-bye.